On December 26, 2011, 30-year-old Beverly Hope Roscoe Melton called her grandmother in distress. Driving down a rural road in South Carolina, she said someone was following her. Hope's voice trembled with fear as she asked for help, but the call was abruptly cut off before she could provide more details. Hope's grandmother, alarmed, quickly called her daughter, and together they set out to search for her. About 5 miles away, on a long stretch of isolated country road, they found Hope's car parked on the shoulder, but Hope was nowhere to be seen. Her grandmother immediately dialed 911, reporting her granddaughter missing. The call was routed to the county sheriff's office and then to local police officers. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, a deputy was dispatched to the scene. The officer inspected the vehicle. It was in good working condition with no signs of an accident. Inside the car, Hope's purse was found, but her wallet was missing. A forensic team combed the vehicle, but uncovered no immediate clues to her whereabouts. Hope's family, police, and volunteers began a frantic search of the surrounding area. Meanwhile, her husband, Gary Lee Melton, arrived at the scene distraught. The couple had been married for just over a year and were planning to start a family. Gary informed investigators that Hope had planned to stop at a gas station on her way to visit her grandmother, which provided the police with their first lead. Hope's route was approximately 30 miles, with 4 gas stations along the way. Detectives began checking each one, hoping to find any evidence of her whereabouts. At the first gas station, the manager granted access to the security footage. Detectives focused on the time window between when Hope left home at around 11:45 a.m. and when she made the panic call to her grandmother. At 12:19 p.m., the footage showed a male customer entering the store, acting casually. This detail marked the beginning of a crucial lead that would soon uncover the chilling truth. Hope Melton, born on December 4th, 1981, in Cheraw, South Carolina, was the daughter of William Roger and Elizabeth Ray Hodge Roscoe. She graduated with honors from Chesterfield High School in 2000, where she was a member of the Beta Club, Vocational Honor Society, Health Occupational Class, and Chorus. A dedicated and kind-hearted woman, Hope managed TNT Country Store in McBee, South Carolina, and was an active member of the Lancaster Church of God, where she taught children's church. That Christmas in 2011 was supposed to be a time of joy, but it became the last holiday Hope would spend with her family. While investigators worked tirelessly, the case also exposed flaws in the response by certain authorities, delays that ultimately hindered the investigation. However, the use of CCTV footage played a pivotal role in identifying a suspect and piecing together Hope's final moments. The detective carefully studied the surveillance footage. About 3 minutes into the video, a woman appeared in the frame. She was blonde, around 5 feet 5 inches tall, and weighed approximately 140 pounds. She wore a pink shirt and blue jeans. At first glance, the detective thought it might be Hope Melton, but on closer inspection, it became clear the woman was taller than Hope. It wasn't her. The team continued reviewing the tape until 12:45 p.m., but found no sign of Hope. This meant she had likely stopped to fill her car at a different gas station. Her family, distraught and desperate, clung to faint hopes. Perhaps she had gotten stuck in the mud and left her car to seek help. Maybe a kind stranger had picked her up. They prayed she was safe and would return home soon. Meanwhile, the detective pursued another lead. A second gas station located just 10 miles from where Hope's abandoned car had been found. This station also had surveillance cameras that might offer valuable insights. Upon arrival, the detective introduced himself to the manager, explaining that they were investigating the disappearance of a young woman. He described Hope's appearance and mentioned the make and model of her car. The manager's face lit up with recognition. He thought he had seen Hope around noon. Surveillance footage confirmed it. Hope Melton had stopped at this gas station before she went missing. The video showed her refueling her car, appearing calm and unbothered. Another camera captured her walking toward the store, where a man in a white cap held the door open for her. Inside, Hope paid for her gas and left the store smiling. She seemed to be in good spirits, possibly looking forward to spending the day with her grandmother. However, when the detective reviewed the footage again, it wasn't Hope who caught his attention. It was the man in the white cap. The cameras showed the man entering the store right after Hope. He glanced back at her before approaching the counter. After paying for his items, he left the store and walked to his car, a dark minivan. Unfortunately, the license plate wasn't visible. The detective rewound the footage to capture every detail. Hope was seen walking back to her car. As she prepared to leave the station, another vehicle, a gray car, pulled into the lot. Its driver stepped out, watching as Hope's car drove away. Neither the man in the white cap nor the driver of the gray car followed her. Still, the detective felt there was more to uncover. He rewound the tape to the moment Hope returned to her car. This time, another vehicle entered the frame. It was an orange Chevy. The detective's pulse quickened. Every new detail added a piece to the puzzle, and he was determined to put it all together. The orange Chevy moved steadily across the parking lot and turned toward the exit. As Hope pulled away, the detective noticed something unusual. The orange car followed her. This detail stuck with him, especially as he pieced together the events leading up to Hope's disappearance. The surveillance footage from the gas station provided clear evidence. The orange Chevy had been tailing Hope. This raised serious questions, and the police needed to uncover what happened next. Meanwhile, the search party made a grim discovery. 6 miles from where Hope's abandoned car was found, they stumbled upon a pink bracelet and a blood-spattered blanket. The bracelet was identified by Hope's husband. It was a Christmas gift he had given her. These findings deepened the concerns for Hope's well-being. Determined to confirm his suspicions, the detective reviewed more surveillance footage. Hope's route to her grandmother's house passed an office building equipped with multiple cameras monitoring both the parking lot and the adjacent road. However, the offices were closed for Christmas, and accessing the footage required finding a manager with keys and knowledge of the CCTV system. Once inside, the detective began reviewing the footage. The cameras, set to record only when detecting motion, captured Hope's vehicle at 12:06 p.m. Just 2 seconds later, the orange Chevy appeared in the same frame, trailing her car by only a few yards. Both vehicles were heading north toward the wooded area where Hope's car was later found. Although the footage was too blurry to capture the license plate, the orange car's distinctive appearance was unmistakable. With this evidence, police issued an APB. It wasn't long before the orange Chevy was located. Around an hour later, police stopped the vehicle in Jefferson, South Carolina. The driver, 23-year-old Nicholas Miller, was the sole occupant. He appeared nervous during the stop, raising suspicions. Officers brought him to the station for questioning. During the interrogation, Miller's answers were evasive. When asked about his activities that day, he claimed he had spent the morning shopping at a Walmart 30 miles away before driving back to Jefferson. To verify his story, police requested a search warrant for his car, while detectives headed to Walmart to review the store's surveillance footage. The footage from Walmart was crucial. It confirmed that Miller's orange Chevy had indeed pulled into the parking lot at around 10 a.m. This provided a partial timeline of his movements. However, the question remained, what happened after he left Walmart? With Miller's nervous demeanor and inconsistencies in his story, the investigation into Hope's disappearance intensified. The evidence pointed towards something far more sinister than coincidence. The detective carefully watched the surveillance footage, confirming that the man getting out of the car was indeed Miller. So far, his story checked out. Miller walked into Walmart like any other shopper, blending seamlessly into the crowd. He didn't grab a shopping cart or basket, giving the impression of someone casually browsing. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. He wandered the aisles, appearing unhurried. But as the tape continued, the detective noticed something peculiar. Miller wasn't showing interest in the merchandise. Instead, he seemed to be lingering without purpose. Soon, his movements revealed a pattern. Miller was following a blonde woman, who appeared unaware of his presence. She went about her business, entirely focused on her shopping. Miller, however, stayed close, shadowing her through the store. The detective rewound and replayed the footage. It became increasingly clear that this wasn't coincidence. Miller's focus was entirely on the woman. Wherever she went, he followed. But then, the dynamic changed. The woman reappeared in the footage, now accompanied by a man. Their casual interaction suggested they were together, and Miller's behavior subtly shifted. It seemed he realized she was no longer a viable target. Moments later, the couple left the store, oblivious to the potential danger they had narrowly avoided. Investigators speculated that the woman had been fortunate. Her partner's presence may have deterred Miller. Not long after, the cameras captured Miller exiting the store, his presence as unremarkable as when he had entered. Yet, to the trained eye of the detective, the footage revealed a disturbing undercurrent to what otherwise seemed like a normal day at Walmart. As Nicholas Miller exited Walmart, his frustration was evident. A potential target had seemingly slipped from his grasp. We can only speculate, but it appears that he was heading back to Jefferson. There, he would eventually encounter Hope Melton at a gas station. Hope's family had desperately hoped for her safe return. However, when police obtained a search warrant for Miller's car, the grim reality began to unfold. Inside the car, forensic investigators discovered blood spatter on the passenger side fender and the driver's side bumper. Additionally, Hope's wallet was found, providing further evidence of her tragic fate. With this new evidence, authorities decided to question Miller again. The interrogation was conducted by Chesterfield County Sheriff Sam Parker, a name that would become significant later. Initially, Miller denied any involvement in Hope's disappearance. But when confronted with the mounting evidence, he finally admitted his guilt and agreed to lead the police to Hope's body. Miller took detectives to a remote turkey farm located 14 miles from where Hope's car had been abandoned. There, they discovered Hope's lifeless body lying on her back, unclothed. It was a horrific scene that defied comprehension. Miller offered no explanation for his actions. Hope's family was devastated by the news. Her murder left an indelible mark on all who knew and loved her. Investigators began piecing together the events leading to her death. They learned that Miller had recently broken up with his girlfriend, a possible trigger for his apparent mental breakdown. At the gas station, Miller saw Hope filling her car. She had just enjoyed a wonderful Christmas with her family and was looking forward to spending the day with her grandmother. Tragically, she was unaware that she was being followed. As they drove down a secluded backwoods road, Hope realized she was in danger and called her grandmother. Miller forced her car off the road, pulled her out, and shoved her into his own vehicle. He then drove her into the woods, where he ripped off her clothes and committed unspeakable acts. Later, he attempted to cover his tracks by taking Hope to the turkey farm, where he beat her to death with a baseball bat before leaving her body there. A simple stop for gas had led to a chance encounter with a monster, resulting in Hope's tragic death. Miller's ex-girlfriend provided police with chilling evidence as the trial approached. She revealed photos showing Miller chasing her in his orange Chevy just hours before he kidnapped Hope. The prosecution's case against Miller was strengthened by these revelations. However, there was another figure in this story whose actions raised serious questions: Chesterfield County Sheriff Sam Parker. Parker was later fired from the police force for gross misconduct. He was accused of providing special treatment to inmates, misusing property meant for the sheriff's office, and distributing uniforms, badges, and weapons to civilians. Prosecutors revealed shocking details during Parker's trial. Inmates under his watch were allowed to live outside the jail in exchange for working on his personal property. They had access to the internet, phones, and unsupervised visits. In the armory where some inmates stayed, they could entertain visitors and access online resources without restriction. Parker also permitted inmates to shop, dine at restaurants, and even consume alcohol, all while performing tasks for his personal benefit. One inmate, Mike Lee, serving a 15-year sentence for arson, testified against Parker. Lee described a luxurious lifestyle within the Chesterfield County Jail, complete with a flat-screen TV, a refrigerator, and a new mattress in his cell. He purchased these items using money sent by his family. Lee's testimony painted a damning picture of Parker's corrupt administration, further tarnishing the case surrounding Hope Melton's tragic story. The intertwined tales of Hope's horrific murder and Parker's corruption underscore a disturbing abuse of power and a profound failure of justice. Nicholas Miller was facing the death penalty for the heinous crime he committed against Hope Melton. However, due to misconduct by then Chesterfield County Sheriff Sam Parker, prosecutors were unable to seek the death penalty. During the interrogation, Sheriff Parker promised Miller that if he confessed to the crime and revealed what happened to Hope, he would not face the death penalty. Miller, believing the sheriff's promise, confessed. But Parker had no authority to make such a promise. This act severely compromised the case. Solicitor Dan Johnson stated that Sheriff Parker's gross misconduct in coercing Miller's confession under an illegal promise of leniency meant all statements made in reliance on that promise would be suppressed at trial. As a result, the death penalty was no longer an option. In March 2015, Nicholas Miller, then 26, pleaded guilty to all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. Hope Melton's family, still grieving their loss, expressed anger and frustration at Parker. Hope's mother, Elizabeth, said they were disappointed, as they had hoped for the death penalty for Miller. The family continues to wait for an apology from Parker and remains committed to keeping Hope Melton's memory alive. The controversy surrounding Sam Parker did not end there. During his time as sheriff, Parker was found guilty of numerous charges in 2014, including 5 counts of misconduct in office, 2 counts of giving contraband to inmates, and 1 count of embezzlement. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison with the possibility of parole. At his sentencing, Parker became emotional, apologizing to the people of Chesterfield County, his family, friends, and law enforcement colleagues. Parker's misconduct extended beyond Miller's case. He created a culture of corruption and favoritism. For example, an inmate named Lee was allowed to move out of jail and live in the sheriff's armory. While there, Lee reportedly hosted his birthday party, complete with filet mignon and alcohol, and even had a sexual encounter with a female visitor. Lee testified that during his incarceration, he took a private jet from Girard to Mount Pleasant to visit his wife and child. He also recounted being driven by a deputy in a marked sheriff's car to meet a female friend for lunch in Florence, South Carolina. Lee claimed he became close with Parker by working at the sheriff's home, attending church with him, and giving gifts to Parker's daughter. This blatant favoritism, combined with Parker's corruption, led to his downfall. Hope Melton's family remains devastated by the case's mishandling. Her mother, Elizabeth, voiced the family's pain. "We just want justice for Hope. We won't stop fighting to keep her memory alive." The shadow of Parker's actions looms large over Chesterfield County, serving as a stark reminder of how corruption can derail justice.
This was today's true story. Our aim is for people to learn from such incidents and strive to improve society. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.